Secretary Bunting made one thing clear today. She said students will return to school in the fall, whether that be in an actual school building or virtually online. The boardwalk is pretty quiet tonight, but that's all expected to change this Saturday. We spoke to some people today who have differing opinions on whether or not the beaches should be opening this early. On a normal Monday in Rehoboth Beach, you would have to pay to park from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. But starting this Monday, you don't have to pay from 4 to 10 in order to help bring business downtown. Steve, this is where the fire chief says that car left the road. You can actually see through the yard where the car went up onto the porch before bursting into flames. You could still smell the smoke coming off the house, and parts of the car are still in the yard. So now community members are gathering together to try and get clothing and other items this family will need after they lost everything in that fiery crash. Officials want to make it clear that before you can get in your car and head to one of their testing facilities, you need to speak with your primary care physician, who will write you a script for the COVID-19 test. Todd, the highest state office is up for election this time around, and 8 candidates are vying to be Delaware's next leader. Todd, as you can see behind me, it is an absolute mess down here. Crews have been working all day to clear some of the debris and to restore power, but as one person put it today, this neighborhood is forever changed.
This neighborhood is Woods Manor. It isn't anymore. I've lived here for over 20 years.
The trees, once the pride of this neighborhood, gone.
We had the part of the weeping cherry, and the big tree here behind us actually went through the master bedroom, and a part of the ceiling caved in.
2 days after the onslaught, and some people still don't know where they'll sleep.
Yeah, the tree came down right on the bedroom that I was sleeping in. And the walls started caving in, the ceilings caved in.
Pat Dyer moved to Woods Manor 54 years ago this week. He says the damage is hard to take in.
Pretty sad. It ripped up some of my Christmas trees. So we're going to be all right. God was with us.
A lot of the residents of Woods Manor we spoke to said they were unprepared for the storm because tornadoes are not something typical of Delaware. And they say a lot of these trees, as well as the homes, may have to come down.
We don't have these things happen in Dover. I mean, I've lived in Dover since 1972. My husband is from Harrington. We raised our kids in this house.
Jan Conacy just wrapped up years of remodeling. Now she'll start over.
In the last, 5 years, have had a new roof put on, painted the house inside and out, new carpeting, took the bath, done a lot of work in the house and said, okay, we're done now. We can live here until we die. Ha! No one thinks it's rebuildable. They think it has to be torn down. So it's horrible.
With their lives uprooted, many are counting their blessings.
It's kind of one of those things that you go through those levels of grief kind of thing, And the first thing I said, I was holding my dog, in the basement, and I said, I'm alive. When you have to put things in perspective, all of this can be fixed, but you can't bring someone's life back.
Hope and faith, keeping the neighborhood together. Now, when you look at all this damage, it's amazing that no one was hurt. Neighbors have been helping each other all day to clear up the debris. They say it's tragedy like this that brings out the best in humanity. In Kent County, Cassie Simeon, WBOC News, Delmarva's news leader.
Cassie, the 2 voters say they're concerned that voting by mail could lead to fraud in the upcoming election.
That's exactly right, Steve. And they also are concerned because they say that voting by mail is unconstitutional. Now, the state legislature has the right to enact laws based on emergencies to continue the continuity of government, but the lawsuit says it goes beyond that. One Democratic lawmaker we spoke to today called the lawsuit meritless. With Election Day just 76 days away and a 6-month pandemic still ongoing, 2 Delaware voters have filed suit against the state's Department of Elections, accusing vote by mail as unconstitutional. One of the plaintiffs, John Foltz, claiming application for ballots are being sent without confirmation of identity.
It has happened in the area I live in, west of Dover, that friends of mine, John, handed him a application for a ballot. There wasn't people living in their house.
State Election Commissioner Anthony Albence addressed the concerns surrounding vote by mail today, but declined to discuss the lawsuit which he is named in.
So if someone has requested a ballot and then they've changed their mind, they can show up at their assigned polling place. The poll workers are trained to contact the county elections office. What they will do is then verify the information, and that absentee or vote by mail ballot will be voided, and then the voter will be allowed to vote in the polling place.
GOP Chairwoman Jane Brady worries about ballots being sent without confirmation of address.
One person voting multiple times is a potential. I mean, we've heard from people who got 8 ballot applications to their house, and they weren't for them. They had 1.
But those applications are simply that, applications. They are not the person's ballot to vote. Democratic State Representative Sean Lynn, who is also a lawyer, called the suit meritless, and that if this suit was based in merit, it would have been filed months ago when the law was passed.
Frankly, I don't believe that this is based on the merits, that they're saying, hey, you know, this is unconstitutional because that argument has any merit. It's simply a way for designing persons to try to undermine the election.
A court hearing has not been set. And now, if you plan on voting by mail this election, there's a couple of things you need to know. You have to fill out an application for that ballot, either the one that is mailed to you or one online, and it asks you for a couple of things, including your name, your birthday, your party affiliation, as well as a signature. And if someone requested one in your name and filled it out and sent it back, they could be prosecuted for a felony. In our Kent County Bureau, Cassie Simeon, WBOC News, Delmarva's news leader. In perfect conditions, lifeguards are trained to be on the lookout for danger.
With our job, we basically have to be prepared for anything.
And that's exactly what happened over the weekend when a man in his 60s was swimming in the ocean. He went into cardiac arrest and was spotted floating face down in the water.
That's where the training comes in, because we have to be prepared at any time to respond to a call like this.
Lifeguards sprung into action, doing CPR and compressions before applying a defibrillator. A nurse who happened to be on the beach helped the beach patrol, calling out they had a pulse.
There's not a day that I don't go to work and I think about I may have to save somebody today.
Chuck Moran, a compliance officer with the beach patrol, also lifeguards at the area YMCA. He performed compressions on the man after the rescue and says,
CAP always reminds everybody it's up to you to put your life on the line to save somebody else's. And everybody takes that to heart and believes it and works it.
We could be telling an entirely different story if the lifeguards didn't spring into action so quickly or didn't have the proper training. And the Sussex County medic says he couldn't be prouder of his students.
All the work was done by the lifeguards. They did an outstanding job. Their quick response, their calm, cool, collective way of handling it. They worked as a team, and everything that they trained for came together in this one incident.
Many of the guards have gone back to school now, but Granholm says he hopes to reunite the lifeguards on that call with the patient. His name has not been released, but Granholm says he has been transferred to an out-of-state hospital for care. It's quick thinking and actions like these that could be the difference between life and death.
This gentleman owes a debt of gratitude to the lifeguards.
In Rehoboth Beach, Cassie Simeon, WBOC News, Delmarva's news leader.